Okay, well, good afternoon, everyone. We were Abundant Life of 2006, and I think for Heiner that must have been the most hair-pulling, hey, because we were the 13th year. Not? Are you sure? I must say that we had 9 people in our year, so it was myself, it was Kaylee and Odette. Henry is here, but I think that she's in the kiddies class. I'm not sure. Henry? Okay, I am still the smallest of the group, so sorry if I can't see everyone. The other members, Peter will be here tomorrow. He lives in Newcastle. Niku is in Cape Town. We've got Roxy, who is back in Australia. Rutendo has staying with her family in Switzerland, and she's had quite a big impact in Dundee. I've heard and seen and spoken. And is that everyone? And Anton, of course. We had such a great year. We went all over. Our project for the year was we went to the women's and children's... Oh, here's your speech. No. We went to the women's and children's abuse shelter here in Dundee, and we sorted out their storeroom, and we just actually gave some quality time to the kids. Because at the end of the day, that's really what we're all about. And we've all experienced that, because many of you are Abundant Livers, of course. And it's a year of your life that you give to the Lord, and it's a year that you will never forget. And as the motto is, once an abundant liver, always an abundant liver. And I don't think the outreach ever stops. Do you want to say? Oh, must I carry on? Okay. All right. The most memorable memories for 2006 was our 3-day hike, which I'm sure for everyone has a story to tell. And Niku, who was our largest member, did not manage the hike very well. So carrying the backpacks and bricks, Kaylee and I also carried Niku up the mountain. So that was quite the challenge, but we succeeded. Teamwork, you know, Team Extreme. And I think that's where we all got most of our nicknames on that hike too. Mine was G.I. Jane. Kaylee was Butterfly. Do you remember yours? Meadow. Really? I can't remember. Sorry. There were many laughs, and I'm sure there were many tears throughout the years. And for me personally, I have never been with a group of girls in such a small space ever in my life. So that for me was a challenge, but it was the greatest challenge. And we've overcome that. We had such good memories as well, with Peter and Anton, with the washroom and the clothes, doing our washing for us. That was... we also changed the one house. Way up there. I hear every year the Abundant Life house changes. Does it? I haven't been here since 2006, guys. You have to come help me. You don't know either, hey? Because you're here now. What? I'm hitting a blank here. Help me, Kaylee.
I'm very shy in front of people, so just excuse me. I just learned something in a hike. You know, you get these counselors that you think are good, godly men, and you can trust them and things. And then you get to a stage where you haven't had water for 2 hours because I don't know which route your counselors take you on and there's no water, and you're dehydrating. And then you get Wesley convincing Anton and I that chilies take away your thirst. So we were given a chili. And that's when I figured that you don't always trust people, no matter how good they may seem. Because then further on, I got thrown water in my face when we hadn't had water for 2 hours. And when Wesley told me if I did 20 push-ups before him, then I'd get his water, and his push-ups aren't like my push-ups. So yeah, so that's a lesson I learned in Abundant Life, one of the very many, that you don't always trust people that seem to be good. Yeah, I am blonde, but I really, really was desperate for water. So yeah, and yeah, shame. Henry, it's a pity she's not here. She could tell you a lot about our hike with Niku. And yeah, what else? Oh, another thing I learned is I'm very fussy with toilets. For me to go to a public toilet, you must know I'm desperate. So we went to, what was it called? No, but it's called something. It's part of the hike, and then is it just called bush camp? I don't know. But you go there. And then, what? Sorry? In Go-Go. Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. So I don't know, the guys dug the toilet. So anyway, oh, sorry. Okay, women can't dig toilets. So the one night it rained a lot, and we stayed in our little army tents. And I said to Roxy, because we went to the tent last, and I said, Roxy, it really smells like poo in here. It really stinks. So she said, no, it's probably just the wind waving, whatever. So my feet were quite dirty, and I thought, I need to rinse my feet before I get into bed. So I saw a nice puddle there, and I rinsed my feet, and I dried it on my precious towel and got into bed. And then the next morning we realized that it was actually the toilet that had overflooded with everyone's things and come into our tent, yeah. So that put me off toilets even more. But yeah, we survived, and yeah, so yeah.
It's always good to laugh at the fun times. But on a more serious note, there were many valuable lessons learned throughout the year. One of them was also on the hike when we got woken up at a very ungodly hour and we had to stand in formation. And for an hour to sing different songs, we weren't allowed to repeat the same song for an hour. And then we watched the sunrise, and we had the most amazing view from where we stayed. Shelter, cave, hole in the mountain, and you could see the other mountain, and it was just nature, and it was beautiful. And as the sun rose, the darkness went away, and you could see all the colors and all the lights, and you could see definitions and clarity. And then Heino had told us that this is how Christ must be in your life. He must be the light that shines through you, and you will see things so much clearer. So these are the valuable lessons that you just never let go. And if we focus on that, on the positive, then Abundant Life will be a year that you will never forget, ever. And I would hopefully encourage others to also do it. And I've seen from our year, which was a measly 9, that every year it's just gotten more and more. And the Lord has blessed ABL because we are doing His work, because we are living in the end times. And time is short, guys. And we have to reach every soul because everyone is a candidate for heaven.
Okay, wat's dit? Jy sien, daar is nie ons jaar hier nie. Daar's hy. Okay, 2005. Ek dink die dag, well, the day that stood out for me the most was day 1. Coming to ABL, meeting all the new faces, people looking at you like, hey, what you doing here? Hoe is jy? Jy moet nie hier wees nie. En toe gaan slaap ons, en toe begin die rollercoaster vir die res van ons lewens. En as ek kan getuig, kan ek sê, it was probably the best year of my life, because that's where everything just changed. Perspective came. Mission came. Vision. Knowing that God really wants me to work for Him. And taking step by step, slowly but surely, growing and still going forward. And there's only 5 of us at the moment. We'll be 6 tomorrow, or a little bit later, out of the 15 that came this year to the reunion. Now everyone's doing their thing, carry on going. But I can only say thank you to God for bringing me to ABL. And I'm sure that each and every one of us sitting here can say thank you to God for allowing us to go through something special together as teams, as a team. And I'm standing in front of you today knowing that God has brought me here today for a specific reason. And I don't know where I would have been if I did not make a decision to join ABL. And I can only thank everyone that has come before us and those who will be coming after us. That we just need to carry on with the mission. And if I had to tell you the stories of our year, we'll be standing here all day long. But we stand in front of you guys as witnesses, as testimonies of lives being changed every single day. Yeah, we might fall and slam our faces into the ground, but God says, stand up, fight. The devil wants you down. Because you know what? He doesn't really call the qualified. He qualifies the call. And we only have to say, yes, Lord, I'm willing. Let's go. Let's go fight. Because the devil wants to destroy us completely. So I stand here as part of my team, part of our team, because we're all standing here and sitting here as a team. So I'd like to thank you, each and every one, for coming this weekend, because it's a testimony to see the amount of lives that have been inspired to go out into this dark world. And remember, it's one thing we got to share, and that's the love of God. That's my mission, and I'm trying my best to do that.
I actually want to share a testimony of someone else that changed my life during Abundant Life. We were on our first tour in Pietermaritzburg, and we went through our test tours in Freight and Richards Bay, and then we went to Pietermaritzburg. And the people that we stayed with, I stayed with Heinrich, which couldn't be here, but okay. It was an elderly couple, and they were the youth leaders of the church, in that church, the Pietermaritzburg Congregation, Trelawney, yeah. Or they used to be, I guess. And I remember they were very inspiring people. Okay, so we got there, very simple, very, not simple, but very eenvoudige lewe, man, just chill. And so the one day I was talking to this lady, and she told me, we were discussing kids, we were discussing the way we did programs, and I was referring to the way kids were reacting with adults or something that they do, and I just said, but I'm sure you will only be able to know this once you have children of your own. Turns out they couldn't have children of their own, so I was in this already making a really bad impression, I thought. And this is our first tour, and you don't want to disappoint. And then later on during the week, she said, I mentioned that we were going to this old age home, and she said, if you do go by this old age home, please tell Mrs. So-and-so, I say hi, I greet them, or if you do find her there, please visit with her, because she's really special to me. And I said, yeah, sure, we'll do that. And I got there, and we went through the old age home, and I totally forgot about it, of course. We were doing our thing. And later on the evening, when I got back there, she said, so did you see Mrs. So-and-so? And I was like, oh, my word. But I didn't want to disappoint her, and I was this is our first tour. And I said, yeah. And then I felt really bad. It's like really, really, really bad. For that whole week, it just haunted me. And I was just like, I can't, no, I'm going to have to tell you that I didn't see her. But I was just like, I can't do this. I'm an abundant life. Abundant lifers don't lie. They don't do these things. So then, later during the week, I already had this bad impression, I thought, with this elderly couple. And then, so I got to by the end of the week, I just got the courage. I don't know. Yeah, I went to her and I said, I'm really, really sorry, but I lied to you and I didn't see this lady, and I'm terribly sorry. I just didn't want to disappoint you. And she was like, it's okay. She didn't make a big deal of it at all. And then she told me about this book called Anna, Mr. God, or Mr. God, This is Anna. And it was such an inspiring book. She read a bit of it to me, and I was like, I really need to get hold of this book, and I did. And at the end of the week, she gave us all this little book called Practicing the Presence of God. And it was just something that stayed with me. There's so many people that we stay with throughout our tour in the year, and I can't remember the other people. It's kind of just a blur. But I just remember her, and every week, every camp meeting at St. David, they're always there, and she always greets me, and it's just like this ongoing weird little thing of, I lied to you, but you're still cool with me, and she's really made a big difference. And later during our tour, I actually got hold of the book, and EJ, which isn't here either, but EJ was staying with me, and I actually, in the morning for worship, he was in a bit of a low spot. I would read the book to him. So the blessing that she gave, just carried on, and that was a really good experience. It's something special to me.
Hallo julle almal. Ek gaan Afrikaans praat. My Engels is bietjie vrot die afgelope jare. So, ek gaan net ietsie met julle deel wat ek in Abundant Life geleer het wat tot vandag toe by my bly. In Abundant Life was ek eintlik meer in die backseat gewees. Ek hou nie van die spotlight nie. So ek het my altyd oral gehelp waar ek kan. Ek was in charge van die kos en ons het die kiddies altyd geëntertain en dit is waarvan ek gehou het. En soos wat ek deur die jaar met die verskillende kinders gewerk het, met juniorweek en tienerweek en al daai goedjies het, die Here my hart sag gemaak vir kinders. En hy het vir my die geleentheid gegee om vandag nog met kinders te werk wat 'n mental of 'n physical disability het. En alhoewel mens nie jou werk sien wat jy elke dag doen met hulle nie, het die Here vir my nog steeds daai kans gegee en daai hart gegee om hulle ook raak te sien, want baie kere gaan hulle weg in die wêreld, hulle word verlore. En ek kan actually elke dag die miracle van ons Here Jesus sien deur daai kinders. En as ek kyk na 'n kind wat normaal is dit actually so amazing. Mens weet nie hoeveel jy dankbaar voor moet wees tot en met jy so 'n kind sien nie, en met so 'n kind moet werk nie. En ek wil net dit by julle los dat dit wat jy het, moet jy waardeer. En dit wat die Here vir jou gee, moet jy gebruik en dit tot sy wil doen vir die res van jou lewe, elke dag wanneer jy kan.
Ek glo aan bou die nasie. Ek maak hom groot vir Abundant Life. Ek moet sê Abundant Life was een van die grootste en beste keuses wat ek in my lewe gemaak het. Ek was eintlik al 26, 27. Hoe oud was ek? 28. So hulle het my ouma genoem. Ek was eintlik gevestig in 'n goeie werk en ek het besluit om Abundant Life toe te kom, nie vir my onthawel nie, vir 'n vriendin wat eintlik wou gekom het, maar nie alleen wou kom nie. Op die ouene toe was ek alleen daar. Maar ek is glad nie spyt ek het daai besluit gemaak nie. Ek het baie goeie ervarings deur Abundant Life gehad en ek het baie uitdagings gehad. I think the challenges actually was very good for me because it's, in a way, I don't know how you experience challenges, you come out stronger and better on the other side. And that was important for me. Abundant Life also gave me, like AJ said, perspective and gave me a bit of more focus. And I am tending to be bit more serious since Abundant Life, because I know there's a great controversy around us all the way, all the time. And so it doesn't make me a perfect person. I still make mistakes, and I still know where to find God's grace for me. And looking at Trevin, that's his name, I want to teach him the principles I learned in Abundant Life. And my husband also has 2 kids, and I'm trying to carry the principles over to them as well. And you need a lot of grace for that. But I'm very grateful for the privilege that I had to attend Abundant Life, and I actually just thank God for that, because I actually was so close to not being in that experience. Thanks.
I think one of the biggest things is that I got from Abundant Life is fellowship, and even now, vanavond. I'm telling you, if it was not for my friends, I think I'd be long gone.
like I've met such awesome people, and like in my group, they're still my brothers and my sisters, and even though we've lost contact with many of them, even through the years, when I go back to know God, so when I youth feast, or even there where I'm now in Heidelberg, I have friends who are praying for me, and I have friends who give me godly counsel, and who tell me things straight to my face if I need to hear it. And if it was not for them, I'm sure, I would have lost the way. And I just want to say thank you to all my friends and everyone who's been there for me. And I want to be like that. I want to be that godly friend. And that's one of the biggest things I got from Abundant Life. So I want to thank God for that.
I still remember our youth, I know Guts, Audrey and I, we were sick in bed, like sick as dogs. Everyone was doing the camps and wada, and Audrey and I were stuck in bed, so we decided, we don't like this idea. So we got out, got like a warm, and made our way down to the bush camp to come and see what's happening down here. And as we're going, we're busy memorizing verses with our coffee in between, memorizing verses all the way down. And I can only say thanks to God, eh? And I think you guys can all testify about that. Amen.
It's just me here. Oh, there. And Nemo, she's always late. Nemo wants to tell you a story how she got her name Nemo.
Engels of Afrikaans? Okay. Is dit aan? Okay, is aan. Die van die mense wat my sou geken het voor Abundant Life, sou nie geglo dat ek hier staan en praat nie. Ek het nie bo of ba gesê nie, met niemand gepraat nie, met niemand gemeng nie. Maar in Abundant Life word jy in die spotlight geplaas en jy word gedwing om die leiding te vat en te praat. En ek het nie baie in myself geglo nie. Op daai stadium, eintlik met nou Guts in die jaar van Abundant Life, Nathaniel was nog in daai groep gewees, het ek die Saterdag aand hulle gebabysit, toe hulle Finding Nemo gekyk het. En dit was die fliek van daai jaar, en dit het een of ander manier in Heino of Sean, ek is nie seker wie se kop dit was nie, in hulle koppe vasgehaak. En omdat ek nie baie in myself geglo het nie, en ek was nog nooit regtig 'n fisiese persoon nie, ek het nog nooit in my lewe 'n berg uitgeklim nie, en nog nooit 'n obstacle course alleen gedoen nie, het ek maar geglo ek het 'n klein vinnetjie gehad. En so het dit gebeur dat hulle my Nemo gedoop het. Maar agterna het Blommie gesê dit moes eintlik Dory gewees het, want ek was nie all there nie, ek moet erken. Maar ek moet vir julle sê, Abundant Life was die ergste van my lewe wat ek nog ooit deurgemaak het, maar ek dank die Vader dat ek die geleentheid gehad het om te kon gegaan het, want ek glo nou in myself, daar is niks wat ek nie kan doen nie. En ek wil vir julle sê, hierdie verpiepte afvlerk visie is jeugouderling, ek is welsynsleidster en ek is in beheer van Women's Ministry. En dit is vir my 'n ongelooflike eer om dit te kan wees in my kerk, om te dink dat ander jong mense opkyk na my, terwyl ek myself ver van perfek af sien. En dit gee my net meer inspirasie om voort te gaan met dit wat ek hier geleer het. Daar is niks wat ons nie kan doen nie, want Christus gee vir ons die krag. Nou die ander ding, moet ek dit nou doen of later? Okay, ek wil met julle ietsie deel. Dis al wat ek kon doen, okay, dat ek net vir julle sê hoekom. Met die hike aangesien ek so 'n verskriklike fisiese persoon was en hulle glad nie gesukkel het om my by die berg op te kry nie. Johannes nie hier vandag nie, maar hy het my fisies getrek en gesleep en aangemoedig en alles gedoen. En as gevolg van dit alles, ek neem aan ek het geswik of iets, maar my voete was ongelooflik geswel gewees. Toe ek my skoene uittrek, het almal se oë gepop, want hulle kon nie glo dat ek enigstens beweeg het nie. En ons moes die Saterdag aand by die, ons was toe nog by die Jabulani gewees, moes ons 'n skiet of 'n ding gedoen het, en almal het 'n part gekry, en ek het nie regtig nie, want ek was nie beweegbaar nie. En toe het hulle vir my hierdie deel gegee. En dis al wat ek gedoen het. All gold tastes real good. All gold like good food should.
Ek weet nie wat Danja onthou nie, but Byron and we enjoyed the hike and we had a good year. What I can remember is all the good meals. We never had problems in our group. We always just got so well. We just loved each other. The girls on the other hand, they didn't really, the guys, we all got on very well. No, but on a serious note, to me, it wasn't Abundant Life that changed my life. It was you guys. Because Abundant Life is all of us standing here. When we came here, it wasn't an organization, it wasn't any of those things. It was the people that made Abundant Life. You make Abundant Life. And it's the same with the church. The church isn't a building, it's not an organization, we are the church. And I think of Heino, Wes and I were speaking about this when we came here. Heino is the ultimate disciple maker. We are disciples of Heino, and we're supposed to go out and make other disciples. And I think to me, that's what Abundant Life taught me, is to be a disciple maker. So, yeah, and I think that's what this weekend is about, to rekindle that flame to go out and make disciples again, to remember why we're here, and remember what we're called to be and called to do.
Okay, my turn. I got to agree with Quentin firstly that, us as guys in the group, we thoroughly enjoyed it. In fact, on the hike, if you've ever been tempted to get a tattoo, go on an Abundant Life hike. Johan and I, we were running so much that I still bear the scars from the blood that came out of me from this hike. And today I can look on my forearm and say, that's from Abundant Life. But on another serious note, and something that I can see from here, by the way, we East Randers, eh? Oh, firstly, Abundant Life is represented by the East. Hey. Okay. Thank you. Look at them. Okay, I had to get that out the way. Secondly, is the reason why I came to Abundant Life, and this is the critical part, is and Quentin touched on it, and Danya, she's showing that she's living the example and all that type of stuff. The reason why I came to Abundant Life, and it's maybe part of a testimony and all that, is actually in essence from the group before us. My friend, who's today I'd consider him my best friend, even though he's in another country and all that, my best friend, Wesley, was in school with me, and he was a year older than me, and in matric and all that, and he decided to push off to Abundant Life after matriculating. And Wesley and I've told the story to many people, never got on. In high school, we didn't associate with each other because we were too cool for each other. So we couldn't associate, East Randers or whatever. Okay, and something that I noticed about Wesley was a substantial change in his life. When he came back to church every time they got a gap. He'd come back to church and you could see that there was something that Wesley had that I didn't have, and I wanted it, okay? And basically the result was that I can remember the great controversy coming to Springs the one time, and Quentin was there, and Quentin said to me, he's going to be joining Abundant Life and all that, and I was like, yeah, no, I was going to join and all that type of stuff, but I was really only in essence going to join for the draw, for the fun of it and all that type of stuff. But how I saw Wesley change and all that type of stuff made me admire what he had with God, and I knew that I was lacking that. And so I joined Abundant Life, and within a period of maybe 2-3 months, and we've all alluded to it, that sometimes Abundant Life for most of us was the best times of our lives. And today, when I think about God, I think about how I look back on Abundant Life. When I look back on Abundant Life and I look back on our group, I could stand here and I can say something about members of my group that, gee, we didn't get on. But I'm not going to stand here and say we didn't get on. I can go and say how we fought with each other and what their bad habits were and all that type of stuff. But again, I'm not going to stand here and tell you that type of stuff. Because when I look back at Abundant Life, I look at the things that I enjoyed about Abundant Life. I look at the things, the times when I was happy, the times when I praised God. I see the results of His fruit that He's given to me. And I only look at the positives of Abundant Life. And when I look at that, it reminds me of God. It reminds me that God, when we look at us as sinners, and there'll be many of us that have been there, been to Abundant Life, and perhaps gone back home. And maybe you're one of them that maybe also drifted in a sense, where you struggled with your walk. And God looks back, and when He sees you come back to Him and all that, He doesn't remember all those bad things. He doesn't remember the bad things that happened in the group and all that. He looks at the soul, and He looks at the individual, and He remembers the good times. And that's what I remember about our group. And I can remember saying to Hannah, I said it to him today, I said to him, we must be one of the worst groups that ever braced you. And he told me no, and that's exactly it. He remembers the good about the groups. And I hope that from this weekend we just get time to fellowship each other and remember all the good times. And then in those good times also remember to praise God for developing us. And continue to praise Him for what He will continue to do for our lives. And help us to be like Wesley was to me. He inspired me. Each one of us will leave here this weekend, and I hope you'll go out and go back home and still continue to inspire others. Charlene. Okay, somebody.
Sorry, I wasn't up here. Been running around after a little one. Okay. I think Abundant Life for me was an important puzzle piece in my life. We're not always sure for what reason, and certain things must happen and certain things must go certain ways. But I think the Lord has always got His hand in everything and in every step and every second of your life. And the years after Abundant Life, it's been a journey, it's been challenging, but God has never left my hand, even if I've slipped away. He's always carried me and will carry me and each one of us through the journey until we meet up with Him one day.
Hey, Wes. You remember that time we were up on the mountain?
Which time was that, Digby? Just trying to remember.
I suppose it happened a few times. Well,
oh, on the cross.
Yeah, I think it was close to that time.
Oh, man, trying to think.
I don't remember much actually.
What was I wearing? Can you remember?
Sorry to say I can, actually. You probably remember what I was wearing, too. I don't remember much else, though, but it was so cold I couldn't think.
It's been 10 years that I've received counseling from seeing you naked on the mountain there, Digby. Yeah.
I also can't get it out of my mind.
Just don't understand why Heino wanted us to do that, just spend that whole night together on the mountain in our underwear.
He called it a golden leadership course.
I've thought about it a lot, and I think the reason was because maybe he wanted us to realize really practically, creatively what it means to like come before the Lord naked. That's what I'm thinking. But
now the penny has dropped. I can see why it was a golden leadership experience.
It was good.
So we literally were on this mountain.
he gave us a few matches. I think we actually needed a few more in the end. We weren't quite getting the fire lit. But it was interesting.
Little did he know, we were so thankful for Miguel who brought us so much food during the night. Can you remember that? Oh. But we acted really well in the morning, acted hungry and cold. But Miguel was a real good help to us.
He's a good oak, yeah.
He taught us a lot about leadership and, you know, under the table stuff. So, yeah. When I think about abundant life, yeah, it was the first place I came to and I learned how to speak die taal van die hemel. Yeah, so I can go to heaven now. But something that, yeah, it's kind of hard to speak about something that's been so much of my life and it's played a huge impact in my life. It's been my foundation of who I am today. And pretty much, yeah, I became an addict. And it wasn't just 1 year. I stayed another year and another year and another year. But it's just been a blessing to have always worked for God. And my whole worldview changed completely from who I was to when I came to Abundant Life to actually meet God and see God. And I'm still love being a part of it. And that's why I'm glad to be here today. And it's always just been a blessing to work with young people and to see how, you know, people's lives can be changed by just a basic thing like this in the church. So, yeah, biggest.
Abundant Life is still trying to help me to learn to think on my feet.
Remember, you just have to act prepared, Diggers. Yeah. Should we break up in small groups quick and just pray for a while?
Abundant Life changed the course of my life. It just opened up another world, and literally for me, another part of the world. I am excited that I don't want to take away from Ruan having come from New Zealand or Norman having come from New Zealand, but I was the first true non-South African to join the group. I was, I suppose, Heino's challenge. Heino had to learn English that year. They tried to teach me Afrikaans en ek het 'n bietjie geleer, maar ja, my verstanderig is still baie vrot. En my praterig is nie beter nie. What can I say? There is just so much. I saw that sauce bottle there and it made me think, all gold sauce reminds me of Dundee, because I look at all you people, I look at the people and the people that I've met in Dundee, and I think, you know, these people are all gold. Africa, it's known for its mining, but did you know that the most productive mine is in Dundee, because there are diamonds that have come out of here. And as you know, diamonds are rough at the start. They have to be dug out. It hurts. But at the end, we have a smooth and beautiful stone. And thinking of Christ as our bride, he has on his hand this a ring with these beautiful diamonds. And what a privilege to be part of an organization like this. And South Africa, the Rainbow Nation. It's just been beautiful to get to know all the people. We all have different talents. We all have different backgrounds and cultures. They're colorful like a rainbow, but yet together they make something which is absolutely beautiful and something that only God can put in place. And that is what abundant life is to me, all these things. And it's just a privilege to have been a part of this. And yeah, I just want to encourage this year's group, keep on, keep going, and keep trusting in the Lord.
Tourist in this place, man. Look at the diversity. People in mansions, a couple of blacks in shacks. But blacks are moving up now. It's pretty good to see that. Man, being a tourist here is unreal. But coming back, though, is just, feels like I'm alive in this place, man. Abundant Life 2002.
I'm sure I know this guy, but I don't know. Excuse me, sir, but have I seen you before? You look very familiar to me.
Sorry, who are you?
Were you perhaps in Abundant Life a few years ago?
I was.
You know, there's this remote place, they call it Dundee.
I was. It was quite a long time ago now. It was 11 years. You know, your face is quite familiar.
When were you?
I was in 2002.
Me too.
Serious?
Serious. Serious.
What? What happened to you? It's Zelma, right?
Yes.
Hey, Zelma. Hey, man, come here. Oh. Zelma, look, it's been so long. I'm traveling back to South Africa, you know, and part of this thing has just been to reconnect. But should we have a quick coffee and just talk about where life's been at? I mean, it's been a hectic experience. 11 years. What do you do? Let's do it. Latte for me, thank you. What do you want?
What's a decaffeinated? I don't even drink
So
coffee.
you're keeping to the
hot
good,
chocolate.
keeping to the good Adventist ways, eh? I like to see that. Zelma, you know, it's surprising to see you here on the street, and I'm certainly pretty excited to be back in South Africa, especially bumping into an old friend. Where have you gone? What have you done in the last decade and a bit?
Well, it has been 11 years. Can you believe it? I don't know if I must feel ancient or if we're looking younger than we were.
Well, yeah, that's why I didn't recognize you at all. You're looking way better. Way better. What are you doing these days? You look lovely. Like, you look all pretty and like, what's happening?
Well, in Abundant Life, we actually had this detox course.
Uh-huh.
Now,
I remember that.
The catch was that we got people to come in to do the detox course, and we had to crash learn to do a massage. I think it was in 5 minutes, because we had to help the people that's actually coming for the detox course with massaging. So we were thrown into the deep end.
Hotel Dundee.
Party. And then what? Oh dear, it's the mountain, sorry.
That's Zelma in a teacup.
So basically what happened is there my passion grew for the beauty industry. So I became a beautician, I worked in a spa, and now I was telling Ruan that I've got the opportunity these days to actually make a difference in beauticians' lives, because I was a lecturer, I'm still a lecturer, and I might not have a Bible in my hand, but my lifestyle and the way that I react, the way that you care for the students, the way that you listen to complaining parents, the way you handle them, that has an influence on other people's lives.
Zelma, you bring a flood of emotion into my heart, because it seems like you've kept that flame alive. And, you know, after Abundant Life for me, being an emotional sort of person and having had my connections and roots back in New Zealand, I realized I had to get back there and go and build a life, build a family, get on with my life, get on with college, go to college, university, get a real job. That's what they said to me. That song came out in the year I did Abundant Life, you know, and I believed I carried so much worldliness into my year in Abundant Life, and it changed me, and I felt alive in the gospel. Remember our tour in Namibia, you know, praying over the people, seeing healing happen, feeling community, feeling spirit, connecting with Christians around the country, feeling alive for Christ. At the end of the year, I had to make a decision. What is it going to be? Am I going to carry on with this vision, or am I going to just carry on with the life that was drawn out for me, the sort of the life that was set up for me back in New Zealand? And Zelma, I did. I went back. I left. And Zelma, the flame of Abundant Life died pretty quickly. I couldn't live in the past. Living in the past was painful. I hated the thought that everyone was so far away. Spirituality was locked up in a community that will love you and care for you, and the most amazing community. The community that can carry you and be there for you and pray for you. But the community I went into was fast-paced, commercial, plan your life, get your finances in order, buy a home, you know, go traveling.
Have children.
That eventually happened. I sort of came right a little bit, but Zelma, when I finished my commercial studies in finance and management in 2006, so completely away from any theological studies, I decided to tour Canada for a while and really try and find myself. You know, Abundant Life may have been an opportunity to find myself, but having given away that opportunity to really connect with God in the journey, I decided I'm going to get out there and I'm going to go and travel the world. And you know what? Traveling the world was one of the best things I think I could have ever done for me. But after those 2 years in Canada, I still didn't have it. Didn't have it. I mined the open cast mines of northern Canada, dug oil out of the ground, made some good money, traveled North America, came back to New Zealand, joined a global freight logistics company, earned some good dollars, you know, married my incredible wife who stuck with me throughout the time that I was away, built a family, and Zelma, I'm coming back to South Africa now, really just trying to reconnect with what this vision was all about. I'm so pleased to hear that you held on to it. You kept it on. You applied it in your career. You found opportunities to live the abundant life in your career, in beauty, in the sorts of things that you love doing. Why haven't I held on to that? Talk to me more about your experience. How do you apply it? How do you really do it?
For me, one thing that I've learned is, or that I'm very passionate about, is that as we learned this morning, whether I'm a vice principal, and what's your job description?
I'm an account manager for a finance company.
Okay, so it sounds quite good. So people look up to you. But what does it really mean? What does the title mean? What does it mean to be a somatologist? What does it mean to be a vice principal for a beauty academy, a private school? What does it make me? Does it make me something, or does it make me nothing? Is my life meaningless, or what do I have? What do I have to show? It's 11 years past abundant life, and where am I going?
That message earlier on today about doubt hit a real nail. I've had doubt all along that God can really have transformative power in my life, or ongoing power. The sort of power that will make me surrender every single part of my life. I think I carried that through abundant life. I never gave it all to God. I kept a little bit for myself, so that by the time I transformed out of abundant life into the real world, it was like, abundant life hat off. Here we go, full speed. I can do it. I can do it. I can do it. And here I am, Zelma. I'm still searching. I'm still searching. Just before we end off here, yes, we did add a bit of caricature to this skit, and in a way, it is based on maybe how we are currently placed in this life at the moment. Zelma has been a constant spiritual friend throughout the last decade and a bit. She's written letters to us all. She's maintained contact with us. She's, prayed for us from distance. And maybe I'm not as bad as I've portrayed to be here, but it's so easy to lose the vision unless you give up the doubt. Give up the doubt that Pastor Jose spoke about today. If you carry that doubt with you, Abundant Life Flame will die. That's the sad news. That's my experience. We have to give it all to God, every part. That sinful part of you that feels so good, that part of your identity that's so hard to give up, the part that you feel comes from your family, the part that determines how you make your decisions. We have to give that all up. Wisest man that wrote in the Bible said everything is meaningless, completely meaningless. What do people get for all their hard work under the sun? Generations come and generations go, but the earth never changes. The sun rises and the sun sets, then hurries around to rise again. The wind blows south and then turns north. Around and round it goes. Everything is meaningless. But I will add there that everything is meaningless unless you center it around Christ. Christ, Christ, Christ. Everything in your life has to be submitted to Christ. Otherwise you keep chasing tail. So please, I hope you all are blessed by this.
Ons is Abundant Life 2001, die amper volledige groep. Maar ons het onsself gesien as ongelukkig vir julle almal ander, die beste Abundant Life groep. Ons het net een doring gehad tussen die 9 rose. Ons was 9 seuns en 1 meisie gewees. Ons het ons baie fiks gemaak in Abundant Life, ons moes baie verhardloop. Vir verskeie redes wat ons nie nou hier sal noem nie. Maar ja, soos wat gesê ook is Abundant Life het ons lewe verander. As jy tevrede is met die lewe wat jy het voor Abundant Life, moenie Abundant Life gaan doen, want dit gaan jou lewe verander. Ek het in Abundant Life ingekom net om soos hulle sê 'n gap jaar te vat, en ek het voor Abundant Life het ek hierdie idee gehad, ek wil gaan vlieg. Ek wil lugmag toe gaan en ek wil gaan vlieg. En in Abundant Life, as gevolg van alles wat gebeur het, alles wat ons gedoen het ek besluit, ek wil voltyds vir die Here gaan werk. En in Abundant Life het ek besluit om Helderberg toe te gaan en teologie te gaan swat. En daar het ek ook my vrou ontmoet, so sy vrou wil gaan ontmoet, van Helderberg toe. Maar dit het net my lewe heeltemal totaal en al verander. En 'n gedagte wat ook by my opgekom het is, hoeveel lewens het ons nie in Abundant Life verander nie? En Ellen White sê in Last Day Events dat eendag in die hemel gaan mense na ons toe kom en vir ons sê, dis as gevolg van dit wat jy gedoen het, dalk in jou Abundant Life jaar, wat die rede is hoekom ek in die hemel is vandag. En wat 'n wonderlike voorreg is dit nie vir ons nie, om nie net toe te laat dat die Here ons eie lewens verander nie, maar dat hy ook toelaat dat ons deur hom ander mense se lewens verander. En ons kan baie stories vertel van wat in Abundant Life gebeur het, maar ons sal dit maar so tussen die kuier deur doen, en gewoonlik as jy met ander mense praat oor Abundant Life, dan moet jy sekere detail maar uitlaat, soos die hike, Maar ek is seker deur al die kuiers sal ons nog baie stories vir mekaar vertel.
Eintlik gesê ek wil nie iets sê nie. Ja, jy sê ek weet nie waar om te begin nie, want om iets uit te sonder in jou abundant life jaar is baie moeilik. Ek kan miskien vir julle sê dat ons die voorreg gehad het. Waar was hy nou? Mis ek hom. Om die boskamp te begin. Hy nou, onthou jy dit? Daai toilet wat jy afgebreek het, wat ons gebou het. En jy het iemand gekry om hom af te breek. Ja, ons het baie uitdagings gehad. Ons het nog in die sentrum gebly en dit het sy eie uitdagings gehad. Maar ja, Abundant Life, die tyd wat ons gehad het my as persoon baie geleer. En ek weet die jaar voor ons het vir ons gesê, maak hierdie jaar, laat dit tel. En weet dat dit vinnig gaan verbygaan. En jy het gedink, weet die ouens so lank is 'n jaar. Maar totdat jy daar is, dit gaan vinnig verby. En ek weet ook van die jare wat voor ons daar was, het vir ons baie keer getuig en gesê, jy is nooit geestelik wees so hoog, soos wat jy is die jaar wat jy in Abundant Life is nie. So geniet dit. En ek dink, ja, ons moet vandag dink aan van die Abundant Lifers wat nie is nie. Ek het nogal probeer om 'n paar van hulle in die hande te kry en dit is eintlik hartseer om te weet dat van hulle regtig baie ver van Here afleef en ons moet regtig hulle in gebed opdra.
Wel, dis 2001 gewees. Ek kan net sulke flitsse onthou en dit is baie lank terug. Die eerste flits wat ek kan onthou in my brein is toe Freddy vir ons bietjie Milo gemaak het, toe ek standaard 5. En in die jaar daarna, toe het hulle weer verbygekom. Nee, dit was andersom, dis 2004, ja. Maar in 'n geval, toe ek standaard 6 is, toe kom Jeff Makkel en Shemaine, hulle se groep, en hulle het by ons gebly, en dit was baie lekker geweest. En hy het gesê, hey, Boet, there's a guitar, why don't you play it? Nee, yes, ek ken nie dit nie, maar speel daar, ek like it. En so het dit gekom, en ek het toe begin te gitaar speel, en ek is dankbaar vandag, ek kan vandag 'n bietjie saam met Shemaine gespeel het, en Abundant Life was goed vir my geweest, ek het dit baie geniet. Nog 'n ding wat regtig uitstaan, nog 'n flits. Ek weet nie wie was almal in die hotel geweest nie. Daar's Dirk hulle en Sean. Maar 'n ding van Woensdaagoggend het my baie bygebly en hulle sal outomaties weet waarvan ek praat. Curry eiers vir middagete. Op spaghetti. Ek oom Don het nog vir ons kos gemaak en dit was iets wat niks in die lewe jou op kon voorberei het nie. Daar's nie 'n induksie waardeur jy kan gaan en sê nou as jy voorberei vir Abundant Life se curry eiers nie. Dan donderdagoggende was oudsoggend en nou Desmond sê dit die beste wat in ons groep was, as jy daai wurmpie sien, hy swem so lekker rugslag. Dan moet jy weet, vandag is 'n goeie dag. Dan Abundant Life het vir my 'n goeie vrou gegee, of die Here het vir my 'n goeie vrou gegee, en Abundant Life het haar gerig, en ek is baie dankbaar om 'n godvreesende vrou te hê. En Abundant Life tot vandag toe beteken vir my baie, as jy dit sien, dit voel of jy weer connect, en dit is baie spesiaal. Laaste gedagte, ek het nou gery in die kar, en ek het die radio aangesit, en ek luister 'n gesprek op radio sonder mense, en die gesprek gaan oor 'n Indiaan, en die Indiaan vertel 'n storie van jou geestelike lewe, en hy beskryf alles in 'n metafoor. En hy sê, jou geestelike lewe is soos 'n swart hond en 'n wit hond wat beklei. En iemand vra vir hom, nou wat seën wen? En hy sê, die een vir wie jy kos gee. En dit sal my ewig bybly, dat as jy jou geestelike lewe gaan kos gee, gaan hy groei en groei en groei. En dis my gedagte. Dank julle.
I don't like to make excuses, but I'm going to. I've been sick for the last month, and the song goes quite high. So that's my excuse. I hope the song will be a blessing to us all. I've been out of abundant life for 13 years, 2000. And you go through ups and downs, but this song has reminded me for quite a while of what it's all about. God of justice, Savior to all, came to rescue the weak and the poor, came to serve and not be served. Jesus, you have shown us freely we've received, now freely we will give. You must go, live to feed the hungry, stand beside the broken. We must go, stepping forward, keep us from just singing. Move us into action. We must go. Acting justly every day, loving mercy in every way, walking humbly before you, God. You have shown us what you require. Freely we've received, now freely we will give. You must go, live to feed the hungry, stand beside the broken. We must go, stepping forward, keep us from just singing, move us into action. We must go, stepping forward, keep us from just singing, move us into action. We must go. Fill us up, send us out. Fill us up, send us out. Fill us up, send us out, Lord. Fill us up, send us out. Fill us up, send us out. Fill us up, send us out, Lord. Fill us up, send us out. Fill us up, send us out. Fill us up, send us out, Lord. Yeah. Acting justly, loving mercy, we must go. We must go to the broken and the hurting. We must go. We must go. We must go. Live to feed the hungry, stand beside the broken. We must go.